A forbidden tale of greed, betrayal, and human cost. It began with whispers across the water, an endless blue expanse that promised discovery, but delivered devastation. This is the shadowed chronicle of a continent's agony. How Africa's soul was chained, its people commodified by the insatiable hunger of Europe. Long before the invaders' gaze turned southward, Africa pulsed with life and legacy. From the Nile's fertile banks to the Sahara's golden dunes, civilizations flourished in harmony with the earth. The kingdom of Kush forged iron weapons that rivaled any in the world, while Ethiopian highlands birthed coffee and ancient scripts. Empires like Ghana commanded trade routes laden with salt, ivory, and gold. So much gold that kings dusted their skin with it, dazzling visitors from afar. In the courts of Songhai, poets recited epics under moonlit skies, and universities in Sankore drew scholars from across continents. Here, innovation wasn't borrowed. It was born. Africans mapped stars, healed with herbs unknown to Europe, and built societies where community eclipsed conquest. Our ancestors weren't waiting to be discovered. They were thriving. The chains that came, they shattered worlds we can only now piece back together. In 1441, the first shadows fell. Portuguese explorers, led by Prince Henry the Navigator, hugged Africa's shores in search of wealth. They came for gold, for pepper, for routes to India. But on the beaches of Mauritania, they seized something far darker, the first African captives. Raids turned to ransoms, then to outright trade. African lives became currency, bartered for trinkets and guns. By 1482, Elmina Castle rose on Ghana's Gold Coast, a fortress of stone and secrets built by the Portuguese to warehouse human cargo. It wasn't just theft, it was systemized horror. Word spread like wildfire across Europe's courts. Spain followed, claiming papal blessings to civilize the savages. Then Britain, with its Royal African Company, promising riches to shareholders. France and the Dutch piled in, their flags staining the horizon. They didn't act alone. Some African rulers, tempted by European firearms and luxuries, became complicit, trading rivals captured in wars for mirrors, rum and muskets. It was a deadly cycle. Guns fueled more conflicts, yielding more slaves. But make no mistake, the engine was European demand. Sugar plantations in the Americas screamed for labor, tobacco fields in Virginia, cotton in the Caribbean, all built on broken backs. My great-grandparents were kings in their villages. Then came the ships. Europe didn't just take bodies, they stole futures. The hunts began at first light. European slavers armed local militias, turning brother against brother. Captives were marched, coffles of hundreds yoked neck to neck, through jungles and deserts to coastal barracoons. Many perished on the way, starvation, disease, despair. Those who survived faced the branding iron, seared with the owner's mark like cattle. At the forts they waited in dungeons, dark, fetid holes where hope died. Elmina's door of no return loomed, a portal to hell on water. Then came the voyage, the Middle Passage. Ships like the Brooks, designed for maximum cargo, crammed up to 600 souls into spaces meant for half. Men chained below, women and children above, all in filth and fear. Storms tossed them like leaves. Disease, dysentery, smallpox swept through, bodies thrown overboard to sharks that trailed the ships. 1 in 6 never saw land again. Women endured unspeakable violations. Rebellions flared like on the Amistad, but were crushed with brutality. Captains ensured their property, profiting even from death. The logs read like ledgers of loss. Lost 47 Negroes to flux. But behind each number, a stolen life, a shattered family. It was a perfect storm of profit. Europe shipped textiles, guns, alcohol to Africa. Africa provided the enslaved. The Americas produced raw wealth. Sugar, tobacco, rice, funneled back to fuel Europe's rise. Cities like Liverpool and Nantes boomed on blood money. Banks financed voyages. Insurance companies covered losses. The Industrial Revolution, built on the backs of the enslaved. Kings and queens invested quietly. The church turned a blind eye, sometimes blessing the trade. But Africa fought back. Queens like Nzinga of Angola waged wars against Portuguese invaders, forging alliances and guerrilla tactics. In the forests, maroon communities, escaped slaves, built free societies, defying recapture. From the jungles of Angola to the mountains of Jamaica, they fought back. They burned plantations, they escaped, they rebelled. Queen Nzinga led her people against Portuguese invasion for decades. Her defiance became a symbol of African resistance. Freedom was never given. It was taken inch by inch, life by life. By the 19th century, the world called slavery a sin, but the damage had already been done. Borders redrawn, resources stolen, peoples divided. Colonization rose from the ashes of slavery, a new form of domination. The slave trade didn't end, it evolved into colonization and later economic control. Its echoes are still with us. On ships, mutinies like the Zong massacre exposed horrors. 132 thrown overboard for insurance, sparking outrage. In Africa, kingdoms like Dahomey eventually turned against the trade. but the damage ran deep. Resistance wasn't just rebellion, it was survival. Songs, stories, spirits, they kept the flame alive amid the darkness. Africa bled. Over 12 million souls ripped away between 1500 and 1860. Whole regions depopulated. The Congo lost half its people. Wars escalated for captives. Trust eroded. Economies twisted toward export of humans. Knowledge lost. Artisans, farmers, leaders gone. The land itself scarred, as slavers stripped resources to sustain the trade. The imbalance lingers, underdevelopment, conflicts rooted in those divisions. Cracks appeared in the 18th century. Enlightenment thinkers questioned the morality. Former slaves like Olaudah Equiano published memoirs humanizing the horror. In Britain, William Wilberforce led parliamentary battles. Haiti's revolution in 1791, led by Toussaint Louverture, terrified slavers, proving freedom's fire. By 1807, Britain banned the trade. Others followed slowly, but smuggling persisted and slavery itself endured. It took centuries of suffering to force change, but abolition wasn't charity. It was hard-won justice. Fathers, children, stolen, silenced, forgotten by history. But not anymore, because to remember is to resist. This is the story of Africa's stolen generations and the resilience that still beats in her heart. Today, the ghosts remain. Diaspora communities trace roots through DNA, reclaiming stolen heritage. Reparations debates rage, who owes what for centuries of exploitation. Africa rises anew, tech hubs in Nairobi, art in Lagos, but the scars shape the story. Europe's wealth, Africa's loss, a ledger unbalanced. The sea still whispers of misery and memory, lest we forget the dark trade that chained a world. Subscribe, share, and never forget.